The topic of today is a very pertinent topic. So it's about the relationship that a client and architect has. Of course, I'm talking about the professional relationship. And we have 7 of the most prominent figures of design fraternity in J&K with us today. And to the first question that I have, I'll straight away start with the senior-most member of our panel, Ajay Mengi ji. Sir, what does a successful client-architect relationship looks to you?
First of all, I thank you for giving me a chance to speak on this platform. It's a privilege to share the stage with so many young architects with whom somebody has worked with. Hello. Some are my colleagues, some has worked under me, some has was my colleagues, some have worked under me, and I think it's good to see that so many professionals are coming. Architecture has been improving over the ages. And now we come to the question: a successful client-architect relationship is not measured by how beautiful and impressive your building is when you deliver the building. The most important thing is how the building behaves when the occupant occupies into the building. And he sleeps comfortably after 5 or 10 years, how the building behaves. That is more important.
That's very interesting.
If he doesn't have any regret, the building doesn't crack, the building doesn't have any space problem, doesn't have any air problem. So that way, that part is more successful. And globally, this thing is supported by the system and the contracts. But in J&K, it is mostly the trust.
Right.
And when the trust follows, the architecture sometimes takes the back seat. So to me, this is the best architect relationship that the client should sleep comfortably after 10-15 years, that I don't have any problem in engaging an architect.
So you're saying that architect-client relationship actually extends much beyond the construction, even after the client occupies the trust that he had, or when he enjoys staying in that building or using that building. So that relationship stays all along.
So definitely the building, he's not worried about how impressive the building is when he occupies.
Okay.
But how important is the building behaves over the time.
Okay, that's great. Architect Vikas, Bhola, would you like to add to this?
Hello. Hello. Nice talk. Outside.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. We'll start with it that if we design one of the buildings, whether it is in Canada, London, or Paris, or it's some of the places in Jammu or Kashmir, the relationship is very crucial. I mean, the client and architect's relationship is very crucial, and it's never a simple relationship. It's a fiduciary program among each other. It's a very trustworthy relationship among each other. Architect is not a simple vendor who sells the drawings to the public or the clients. He is rather an advisor, protective advisor to the client, who thinks and keeps the sanctity of the drawings and sanctity of the person also, according to his wisdom, according to for his finances, for his details, for his drawings and other aspects. And if we see to it globally, the architecture program, if we see globally, where the clients act as the bosses, and they are sometimes as a part, they are the partners also for the projects, strategic movers. Whereas the architects in the globally, they act as the curators, and just like a pendulum of a orchestra, which organizes all the webs full of engineers, consultants, different consultants and all. Whereas in Jammu, in J&K and all, the architects and a client relationship is very simple. It's trustworthy. It depends. It doesn't depend upon the globally things. It depends upon their main approach. It depends upon their word-to-word mouth appreciation among each other. So what I feel, the trust is very important among architects and clients.
Thank you. Architect Sahil, would you like to tell me how do you think the architect's role has evolved vis-a-vis the relationships with the clients over your career? Do you think there has been a change in the last 20 years?
Yeah.
Wait.
Good evening, everybody. Actually, in my career, what I have observed is in my earlier practice, the architect was more of an administrator. Now things have changed a lot. Clients have been more to, they have become your collaborators. They have become your partners. They have become your advisors. So nowadays we have to listen to our clients. Earlier it was like we just give a decision, like we are going to do this. So now things have changed. They are more informed. They are more advisors to your project. So they have become a collaborators, what I feel.
So you say over the years you feel it's a more collaborative kind of relationship that is to
Now they have become more collaborator to your projects.
Okay, yeah.
Architect Aviral, would you like to add something to this?
Good evening, everyone. So when I started my practice, there was common myth around कि आर्किटेक्चर में पैसे नहीं होते, people don't pay properly, और क्लाइंट का रोल सिर्फ आर्किटेक्ट का रोल सिर्फ नक्शा ही बनाना है. At that time, our role was very limited. We were supposed to make few drawings and few material selections. Even the contractors were hired before we came on board. But today's scenario is different. Now things are changed. Now client expect drawings. They want clarity on project management. They want us to execute the sites. They want budget clarity. And earlier I see it as कि earlier we were passenger in the project, but now we are the pilots.
Vishalji, would you like to add to this? Sid can add your wisdom to this.
It has been a long journey. Singh sir is our senior. So, in fact, we started more or less jointly. See, it is altogether a very different profession. It is altogether a very different journey for an architect and as far as a client also. It is definitely, as Mengi sir told, it is a trust. So how that trust can be built, that matters a lot. So it is your hard work, it is your knowledge about your subject, how you are explaining your thoughts to your client. So all those things matter a lot. So it is a very different process. In fact, it is first of all, it is a passion that you have to express to your client. Then only you can build up your trust.
Thank you so much. Amir, Malikji, I would like to know what are the top communication barriers that you feel exist in a client-architect relationships?
Yeah, hi, good evening. Well, it's a good question. I think accessibility is the main issue. Accessibility as in how accessible you are to your client and how accessible he is to you. Whenever we make a concept design, we are always very eager to showcase it, present it. And if he's not there and if he's, for example, traveling somewhere, it gets a bit of low vibe, you get it. And same thing happens from our side also. Like, client has got expectations. For example, the barrier, as you said, let's say he's expecting a render. And if we share a walkthrough, so he will really trust us more, and the expectations will lead to loosen out the barrier part, I think.
Thank you so much. Architect Karan, would you like to add to this?
Actually, the client relationship, the client barrier with the architects usually comes due to unforeseen reasons, and like if we don't have any undocumented process, like usually comes from the undocumented process, and long irregular communication with the client, it usually happens between them. And to overcome this thing, we should have the process of documentation process of the design, and awareing the client about the costs of the project, how it's gonna be there, and timelines, and it will overcome the barriers, and it will solve the problem.
So clear communication is very important.
Absolutely.
Okay. Aviral, would you like to tell me, do you think budget constraints affect architect-client relationships in some way?
No, sir. I personally don't believe that budget is a problem. Budget constraint, a budget is a problem. Basically, the
I'm
problem.
saying, have you faced this, that you are a slightly expensive architect, or you are sometime in your career?
It is not like that. I feel the problem is when the budget is disclosed later on. Mostly the designs are freezed, and the client are telling their budget later on. तो उससे ढेर सारी changes is happening in the design. Secondly, unrealistic budget. अब सब लोगों को 5-star outcome चाहिए 2-star project cost में, so which is not feasible. And third is emotional buying. Most of the times, we as an architect try to control कि भाई ये मत ले. But sometimes उनकी emotional buying, they fall in love with some veneer, some marble, some material, जिससे budget shoot हो जाता है. Otherwise, I feel that budget is not a problem. Budget का late और unclear होना is a problem.
Okay. Amir, would you like to add to this?
Sir, please repeat the questions.
Do you think budget constraints challenge relationships between architect and a client?
No, not at all. I don't really think so.
Yeah.
Well, like even if it is a smaller project, you have to give your best. And even if it is a large scale project or you have a high value client, you still have to do the same level of work for even if you do a 5-marla small house. I don't think we should have any kind of barrier in that. I don't think so.
Very nice. Sure. Ajay Mengi ji, what role does bureaucracy play in, say, slowing down the local J&K projects as compared to the smoother global project that we see?
I don't think the bureaucrats delay the project.
I'm saying here, bureaucracy is your client. So do you think at the government projects, the bureaucracy plays some role in delaying, or
I don't agree with you. Bureaucracy doesn't delay the projects. It is a misunderstanding of architects of the bureaucracy that basically delays the project.
Okay.
Basically, the bylaws and the bureaucrats are meant to save your land, the society, and your space. And once an intelligent architect educates himself to design according to the bylaws and within the norms, he can create anything.
Karan, would you like to add to this?
Sure, I would like to add this. I would differ from this, what Ajay Mengi sir has said. Due to heavy bureaucracy these days, we usually face a lot of problems in terms of approval system and time taking during the design process. When we submit the designs, they take a lot of time, at least 4 years in one project. And bureaucracy, it doesn't harm them, but it usually it's a loss to the state exchequer when the project cost shoot up to twice the amount of the project due to delay in decision making and non-following of single window clearances. It's only on the papers, it should be on the ground, and giving responsibilities to the professionals, like for the functioning, and responsibility should be given. And the top end, sitting non-technical in terms of the architecture field, they don't know about the stuff what we are doing it up, just for the sake of passing and having a higher hierarchy in the system, the things get delayed badly.
I would like to add on this, like what Karan said. See, basically, bureaucrats' job is to create the laws. It is the system, they have to make a system, and basically the system at the lower level is creating more problems rather than the bureaucrats himself. So they frame the bylaws and you have to go according to the system and according to the bylaws. You have to design accordingly, and that is the basic role of an architect.
No, sir. The problem basically arises when one IS officer comes into the seat and he proposes some design or some scheme for the development. Another officer doesn't care about the other officers who has given some decision about the project. And somehow this project get delayed due to the wrong decision taken by the new officer. And due to that, the project gets delayed, or somehow most of the time it gets shut out, because most of the IS officers have a different opinion, different, like at the earlier IS officers' time or any bureaucrat officers have different priority at that time. They must have that time have the budget in the state exchequer. But after getting transferred or the new officer comes, he gives his own priority on the project.
Vishalji, you've seen both the sides. Would you like to add to this?
Yes, of course. See, this is a very tricky situation. The fault lies on both sides. We as professionals, we need to come up. We need to join hands to strengthen the system, because especially in Jammu, J&K, I can say we are living in tier 2 city. The metros are working in a different manner. But here we need to come on a platform to say something, to make them understand what is our problem and how we can solve it. So definitely I have seen both the things. Since last 5 years I am into the policy planning and other things. So I can understand there are certain issues in government, there are certain issues in private sector also. But as professional, we have to be on a platform where we can say something properly. Definitely in government, they also, in government officers also require some suggestions, some guidelines to sort out the things. So definitely we need to do something on our own first.
Thank you so much. Sahilji, what's your approach to handling client feedbacks effectively?
See, Harbinder sir, what I feel is that client feedbacks should be documented. We should, make some minutes of the meetings whenever we meet clients and whenever we visit to sites. So we should have a site diary. We should record the things what have decided on site or whatever has decided on in meetings. So that it plays a very positive role. So handling client and architects feedback loops. So things should be documented. That's it. Yeah, this is what I feel. Things should be documented.
Aviral, would you like to add to this?
Yes, sir. I would like to add 2 more points to it. I think that we should early check in with the clients at every stage. Any changes are required or not? Are you satisfied with this thing? So that execution goes smoother. Secondly, as sir has already said, that everything should be documented. And third, I would add that one point of contact should be there in the office. It should not happen that every time some other person is answering the calls. तो उससे बहुत सारी confusion हो जाती है. So I think that feedback should guide the project. They should not hijack it. कि उसी में अटके रह गए हम लोग.
बिल्कुल. अच्छा, विकास जी, globally, do you think the latest technologies, BIM, VR, how would they transform client and architect collaborations?
In our earlier discussion also the same question I suppose was there. BM and VR are very important, and globally also, and locally also. So it will definitely give a power to the client and side by side to the architects also, their role to visualize the things freehand and to digitalize the things also at the same time. So whatever the difficulties which are going to be a challenge in the later stages, you can well understand at the start only. And at the same time, you can make the client rather making them to see the 2D drawings, you make them understand, you make them move into the reality by visualizing by VR effects and all. So you can well give them a good effect, good zeal to the client, whether, I mean, it's not even a 2D or imagination, it's a reality based. So now you can make your clients feel what they want to, what they will be feeling at the later stage, in the initial stage only.
Thank you. Okay, Architect Karan, would you like to add to this about how you think the AI or the BIM, the technology, how can that really improve architect and client's relationships? Is it improving or is it helping you?
If you do the process in a right manner, if you use AI in a design process in coordination with the client, and the client gets aware about the stuff, what he gonna get about the design and what kind of the presentation, it helps them definitely. And overall, it will solve the solution and give a good design input from the client to the client, and it will really solve the problem.
Thank you. Amir ji, do you think there's any emerging trend worldwide which can improve the client-architect collaboration, including the technology that we...
I think these Zoom calls and like all these new apps we have, it saves time. Like earlier we used to email, now we can have those groups and we make those WhatsApp chats and they're really quick. It saves time. And I think that's one of the things which we are using a lot.
Okay. Sir, I'm coming back to you because we're really short on time now. Can you predict one change in the next... that can happen in the next decade, which can really define the client-architect relationship? Any change that you think?
Yeah, definitely. The client basically is not going to the architect. He's basically he's going to those architects, those who are not, we can say, can you repeat one?
Basically, what I want to say that earlier we had single architects running practices, then few joined together to work together. Then bigger, say real estate came in, so architects started working with real estate. So things like that. Anything you vis-a-vis the architectural practice, do you think any change can happen in the next decade, which can change the relationship between client and architect? The level of practice I'm saying, or the level of how we're conducting ourselves in practice.
See, basically, we have to be more responsible.
Okay.
We have to be more responsible. We have to deliver, because the better we deliver to the client, the better relationship between the architect and the client will come up.
It is help.
Would you like to add, Sahil, would you like to add to this?
Yes. Now, what I feel is कि now things have changed और अभी आने वाले time में मतलब this is now more of a like this is what is practice. The general practice is like we have more sub-consultants, we have more visualizers, so software are helping us. So I think definitely it will refine the architect-client relationship.
So the dynamics of architectural practice have changed.
Yeah, it has changed. We have more sub-consultants, we have more mural designers, we have more interior designers in our teams. So definitely it will help the client to, you know, to finish the project in that.
Amir ji, can you give to the young architects, how do you turn a difficult client into a long-term advocate?
Yes. You need to live up to their expectations, and you really need to work hard. I mean, we have to give our best shot. Yeah. There is no shortcut.
Sir, Vishal ji.
I will close it in one line only. You have to be more aware and more answerable to your client. Simple, because due to upcoming technologies and other things, nowadays client is much more aware of the things happening on the ground. So you have to make yourself up to that level that you need to prepare yourself that you have to be answerable to your client much more than you can expect even. So in future, definitely there is going to be a big thing.
So the strategies that all the panelists are saying that we need to have more of transparent communication between more clearer communication, more transparent communication between the client and the architect, and then setting that clear expectation and scope would solve the long-term sort of working that.
Basically, the architect should tell the client the problems client has to face in future. Beforehand. The problem the client is going to encounter, the architect has to tell him beforehand, before the execution part, that if you don't do this, you are going to face this problem. And until and unless how strongly he keeps his point, that is more important.
So we need to involve the clients in the design process as well and the execution part, of course.
See, we have to involve client in every aspect of the construction stage. Right from the beginning, you cannot start your construction immediately. Until unless the complete set of the drawings is ready, you cannot start the foundation part. Otherwise, the building will be in soup.
Okay. Thank you. Now I would like all the panelists to give one advice for the J&K clients to foster better partnerships. We can start with Amir Malik, architect Amir Malik.
Yeah, hi. I think the scope of work is very important.
Okay.
The scope of work should be defined. So they don't.
Now this one I want you to give advice to the client and one to the architects, young architects who thinking of practicing now. One each from both the sides so that they can foster better relationships later.
I think communication is very important. We need to communicate with each other and we need to understand what are their aspirations and we need to deliver accordingly. I mean, we can't impose our ideas all the time to our clients. I think we need to understand what they really need and what they really expect from the project. So that is how you play your game.
Okay, thank you. Vishalji, one advice to the young architects and one advice to clients so that they can have a better relationship with architects.
See, for everyone, I suppose, for young also, first you have to evolve your passion, then you think of profession. So definitely, you have to involve wholeheartedly in your project. Otherwise, you can't build up that trust. We started with the trust and we need to end with the trust factor only. So that is the core thing, I suppose.
Thank you, Aviral.
Sir, I would advise clients to choose architects early, and moreover, they should be prepared with their timelines and budgets before. From the day one, they should be clearing this thing कि ये हमारे सारी चीजें हैं तो वो. And for young architects, I would suggest कि सिर्फ design पे ध्यान मत दो इतना. Moreover, we should be visiting the sites. We should learn how site behaves, how risks are managed at site, how execution is done at site. तो ये सब चीज़ें करके we can make a good practice in the future.
Karan ji.
My suggestion to the clients are basically my suggestion to the client is just to have a good relationship with the architect from the day one and having aware that what kind of a system he wants in the design. And for the young architects, we have to work hard in just to give the client a very good design.
Thank you, Ajay ji.
one advice I would like to give to the client: choose your architect very wisely. Choose your architect who can give you a building for coming 20 years, not impress you. Your building should impress, the architect's building should impress you, not you should be impressed by the architect who impresses you for just 20 minutes. And to the young architect, try to take the responsibility. A building is like your baby, and you should work hard on your building. Take responsibility, spend some time, make sketches, concentrate, and go into the micro details. Don't rush to the building immediately to start the building. Work properly, see the pros and cons, see how the building will behave afterwards, and ultimately then only you finalize your building and start your building.
To architect Bhola.
The client, the advice to the client, all the clients is not to force the architect just to copy paste the things, bringing up the photographs from the Pinterest or Insta and tell them to do the things which are happening in UK or Canada or somewhere else. Rather, they should respect the design concepts of the architect, and they should ask architects to work on the local heritage culture also at the same time. And my advice to the young architects is do go for the savvy, learn all the softwares as much as you can, but engulf them with all the local heritage, local culture of the region. Don't miss the local language, don't miss the local culture of the area, the artifacts, the local technology, the local construction. Always try to respect the local nature, local scenario and the climate of the area, rather for going for the skyscrapers or a big glass box buildings and all. Thank you.
Sahil. Sir, my advice to the young practicing architects would be like scope of work should be clear, budgets should be clear at the very initial stage of the project, and most important, commercial part. So it has to be clear. And my advice to the clients would be trust your architect. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Anybody from the audience, if you want to have any question to our esteemed panelists? Anybody from the audience? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, the panelists, for such a wonderful, though we had a short time, but we could make the best of it. Thank you.